Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hello. At you at the front, just jog those two guys next to you. Welcome to the final panel of today. We're going to be looking at how startups can reinvent customer loyalty. I'm super excited to have some great panelists. They have some truly innovative companies that are really changing the way customers have experiences and delivering amazing customer value. So with that, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with Dan.
Hello, I'm Daniel, one of the co-founders and CEO of Dobies. We're an on-demand treat delivery company. So we produce and deliver freshly baked treats here in the city in 20 minutes or less. We also overnight across California. So we're vertically integrated, touching customers across the entire chain. So customer loyalty is very high on our priority list.
Hi everyone, I'm Yvka Adam. I'm the founder and CEO of eCommerce. We are a 3D printed fine jewelry marketplace. I like to call ourselves the Luxottica for fine jewelry because we work with influencers and celebrities to produce, design, and manufacture their fine jewelry collections on demand. The way we do that is we use 3D printers and CAD design software. We make everything in the US, and because we both retail and manufacture, everything is at direct-to-consumer prices.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire Arthurs. I'm the Director of Community at SoFi. SoFi is a modern financial company that's putting a technology-first approach to banking, so bringing consumer finance into the modern century. Everything that we do at SoFi is really centered around creating a great customer experience and developing a relationship with our customers. So the way I like to think about it is we are taking the beauty of community banking, which is of a bygone era, and we are bringing it into the technology world that we all live in and marrying those two things. So that's primarily what I think we'll talk about today, is how we're creating those relationships.
Thank you. I'm Lindsay Knuven. I'm the Chief Impact Officer for Cotopaxi. We are an outdoor gear company based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And we have a social mission, so I manage all of our global philanthropy and supply chain work. We also have an event series. It's a 24-hour adventure race, and that's been a great way for us to build brand loyalty, something that I think is, central to this panel.
So with that, starting with the key question, how are you reinventing customer loyalty? Dan, let's start with you.
So something that we do that's unique is we're vertically integrated. With a lot of delivery companies today, they're either producing the products or they're focused on the logistics of delivering the products. And we do everything from producing the products in our kitchen to actually delivering them ourselves. So no one touches Adobe's product until the customer receives it except for us. What that means is we can hold ourselves accountable at every piece of the supply chain, whether it's production, whether it's delivery, whether it's the actual service product of getting to the person in the building. And every piece of that chain is an opportunity to emphasize or to build on or to build customer loyalty into that experience. For example, we deliver all our products in person using a courier fleet, and we read the gift notes aloud. And so that there is an opportunity to create this experience for customers that they feel like they need to go and talk about. Because for us, customer loyalty isn't just about a customer purchasing every week, but it's about that customer going out and being an advocate for us. And so by being vertically integrated, we can control every aspect of loyalty across the chain and every touch point with the customer.
Yvka?
Yeah, so I've spent 14 years in marketing, 4 years at eBay, 2 years at another e-commerce company. And one thing I noticed that really drove me nuts is this idea that everyone's trying to find technology to replace authentic connection with the customer, trying to find ways to automate or shortcuts. At eCommerce, we're making products that are fine jewelry. So our prices start at $95. We're doing everything in real gold, silver. Our average price point is around $300. So it's really important that we create this customer loyalty and create a really, really high-end customer experience. And therefore, I believe in not taking shortcuts. I believe in long cuts. So one of the things we do is we don't do things like a survey monkey to gather feedback from our customers. We'll do those every so often, but we actually call every single customer twice a year to ask them, how is your piece? How do you like it? Is there anything we can do? Do you need it replated? Do you want us to polish it for you? And that engenders customer loyalty. It also gives us great feedback because it gives us an opportunity to find out, how did you hear about us? Was it Google SEO image search or Pinterest or things that are kind of a little bit more untrackable? So that actually helps feed our marketing engine and makes us more discoverable. So I believe in taking long cuts with our customers.
Thank you. Bye.
SoFi is in the interesting position of being in finance, which if you survey our target demographic, which is millennials, they would rather go to the dentist than go to their bank. So we are working in a category that has extremely, extremely low customer loyalty, which is a huge opportunity for us. I think, in many ways, yes, we are a technology company, but to kind of second what Ivka said, there's no way to build an authentic relationship with someone that can be, an app or a plugin, right? At a certain point, you need to go out, you need to meet your customers, you need to listen to them, identify who's going to be an evangelist for you, and then figure out how you can tap into that even more. So for us at SoFi, my team, we run a program of 200 live events, and we've been to 60 different cities this year. So we really are in our largest markets, mid-sized markets, and small markets, and we're everywhere talking to our customers, listening to what they want, learning how they found out about us, learning what the barriers were to actually take a product with us. It's a very long consideration process if you're going to purchase a mortgage or refinance your student loans, if you're going to invest money on our wealth platform. So we want to understand the customer and understand all those different decisions that go into why they became a customer and how we can accelerate some of those. So everything that we do, we're bringing our findings back and we're using it to drive our brand and our voice, who are we, and we're using it to drive marketing insights.
Thanks. I would second a number of things that were said earlier. We have a couple different unique touch points with our customers. Through the event series, that has enabled us to really build this experiential connection. It's a 24-hour race that starts at 7 p.m. and ends at 7 the next day. And throughout that experience, people interact with our brand in a way that's not product-based. We also built a native Android and iOS app that enables that community of event participants to share their successes throughout the day. They're able to post photos, kind of proving that they completed various challenges along the course of their adventure, and then have those challenges validated by our team. And it creates an interaction both with our team, with our brand, and with their fellow competitors. In addition, we send a thank you note to every customer. It's a handwritten thank you note. We partnered with the local International Rescue Committee, and we work with a group of refugee youth to write those cards. This often provides the first paying job for these young individuals, while also helping them with some handwriting skills and English literacy. We augment that with professional development training for the youth, and that's been a great way to connect our social impact work in an authentic way with our consumers.
So throwing this out there, how are you managing that offline, online, and how are you tracking that back through? Because obviously you've got to justify all of these great initiatives you do, reaching out offline. How are you doing that? Throwing that out to you guys. Yeah.
One thing that we do to really track it is we measure word of mouth and word of mouth referrals as kind of a metric of how much energy and excitement we're creating amongst our evangelists. So if we know our event program is ramping up, we would expect then, with some lag to see the word of mouth also ramping up. And also, we can track that against different brand campaigns that we're doing and things like that. But we would expect to see an acceleration in word of mouth, which is a huge channel for us. But this is a really hard thing to measure, right? So right. In some ways, we do have certain things that we look at, but I can't tell you that we have a perfect solution for it because it's very challenging.
It's really, really expensive and hard as a startup to track. I spent 4 years at eBay and we had, massive teams around tracking and big data. And it drives me nuts that I don't actually know a lot of what's going on as a startup. So that's I would think that's kind of the most frustrating thing, is knowing how much I could track, but I just can't.
Yep.
So in terms of offline, we don't have any initiatives, but a lot of our business is offline since we're hand delivering products every day. And we track this using simple net promoter scoring. And our net promoter score is at above an 80. I think the reason we have an opportunity to track this more closely with net promoter scoring is because we do something in 20 minutes or less, and then the customer has a reaction immediately. They're either upset or very happy within that moment, and that's when they receive the score. And so we have over 60% of users responding, and they give us very real and authentic feedback, good or bad, because of the unique model we have, which is everything's happening in 30 minutes. Everyone reacts immediately, and everyone either is happy or freaks out immediately.
So what are you doing to create that core customer loyalty? Is it discounts? Do you think is it the personal interaction? What are the elements?
Okay. Well, it's definitely not discounts, because that is not what is engendering repeat purchases from the true people who love you. Who, I think the thing that actually causes the best loyalty is a surprise and a delight of the customer. It's finding something they really wanted, whether that's a dainty opal ring, they've searched the internet for it and they actually found great value on Iconery, or whether it's the handwritten note that they get when they open. It's those little tiny things that make them feel like, wow, this was very unexpected. I think that's the best way to engender loyalty.
Sure, I'll add on. We have a number of different methods for doing this. Our team has a crazy amount of charisma. They're very creative. We'll have a number of people, when we get a question about fit, technical fit's pretty important on a jacket that you might take to Everest or that you might take into the backcountry. And when we get questions about that, we don't just send back sizing. We'll have our team actually go on a hike, test out the jacket, show it off, model it, kind of do a fun little promotion. We've done some things. We have 2 llamas, Kodo and Paxi, and we've done some fun creative things around that give a little interaction with our llamas. But in general, I think it's that relationship building. It's the touch points with your customers, checking in frequently, and doing that in creative ways, whether it's through video. Social media is also a great tool for us to build customer loyalty, not just promotion-based, but really focusing on the storytelling and building that kind of connection with your audience, that it's not just about product and selling, it's about creating that community, creating that interaction with your brand, which for us is the fusion of adventure and social impact, that they are coming to you for the lifestyle, and then they continue coming to you for the various products.
For us, we have this concept of a community, and we make it very clear to people when they join SoFi that you are now part of that community. So going back to the surprise and delight moment, about a week after you sign your loans with us, you get like a cool box in the mail. It's really cool looking. It has like a great t-shirt and all of this cool stuff. And I meet people who, became a customer 2 years ago, and they say, like, my only regret is that, my shirt spends 5 days in the hamper every week, and I wish I had another. This shirt has, meant so much to me, and I love it, which, it's a shirt. It's, $2 from a vendor. I mean, it's a nice shirt, but it's a shirt. But I think the idea that, no other quote-unquote bank that they'd ever worked with had ever really made them smile or done anything kind of cool and fun for them. So we're really able to capitalize on that. And then all of the messaging inside this box is really around community. All the other things that we offer our members. We have career strategy that they can use if they want to get to the next step in their career. We have an entrepreneurship program, and we're always listening. So if there's an idea out there, you can reach me whenever you want with your ideas and send them to me, and I will respond to you. So I think the only way you build loyalty is you can kind of scale it by doing these programs like the t-shirt drops, the messaging around the community, but then it really is you have to do it one by one by one, and it's very time intensive.
Lindsay actually brought up a really good point about social. The great thing about social, it's a way to show the faces behind the corporation. And the millennials have really made it clear that they want to connect with a person or people versus a brand. So social's the best way to tell a story, but also to even showcase who's behind your brand. So we'll show the Iconery dogs, we'll show me on a panel, or my marketing officer, like working with the designers. We don't have a perfectly manicured Instagram feed like most other fashion brands or jewelry design brands. Because we want to actually show these are the people that you're calling when you call our phone number at the top. These are the people who are actually making the pieces for you.
So for us, the core of engendering customer loyalty is actually, so surprise and delight is a huge aspect of it. But we found that doesn't work in and of itself because not everyone is surprised and delighted in the same way you might expect. Our couriers read the notes aloud. We have 3% of customers who are livid at this, even though we explain it on the site and everywhere they message the note. And so what we found through our entire experience is that the best way to engender customer loyalty is to make sure you're managing expectations appropriately. And that's on the site when they're purchasing. That's in person when the courier is on the way. Not just with live tracking, but to make sure that the product and the experience is communicated as they should expect it, and then you deliver that experience. And so it's at the core for us, it's become a lot about communication throughout the entire chain.
I have a quick thing to add. We also use volunteerism as a tool. We facilitate community events, and that's something that enables our consumers.
Can you be a bit more?
Yep, to get more involved in our community. And we do things locally in Salt Lake City. We have a couple initiatives focused on the refugee community there, which is quite significant, about 60,000 refugees in Salt Lake Valley. And we launched a program late last year to connect skills-based volunteers to teach computer science to refugee youth. That program, isn't exclusive to our customers. So we have people who engage with that, and they become really loyal to our brand and huge brand ambassadors because they started out there, kind of finding an outlet for their skills and their passion, and then they develop this deep bond with our broader community. So that's been an interesting approach that I think is very representative of our values and our brands, but also is pretty unconventional.
Yeah, speaking of which, how are you using loyal customers and their actions to actually generate more customers for you? Clay, you organize events. Do you get them to bring new people? And while we're on the topic, you're a bank. How do you get people to spend 3 hours an evening with their bank? Because most people, as you say, would not go near a bank.
Yeah, that's a good question. And most of our customers don't want to go near a bank. So when we first started doing the live events, we were like, I don't know, it might just be me in a room in Nashville sitting there by myself having dinner, but I hope people show up, and people do. But it was a test. To answer your question, though, sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
So how are you using existing customers and existing customer loyalty to drive new customers as well as the e-commerce store?
Yeah, I think what we found very early on, I've been with the company for 2.5 years, so I've had the pleasure of kind of seeing it really grow and scale and hit those inflection points. And for us, a huge moment was when we realized that people were telling their friends because we were solving a huge problem that no one else was solving. And so what we did was create a referral program where if you refer a friend and they kind of reference you, then you both get some money. And we've tested a lot what works better, if the friend gets all the money or if the referrer gets all the money. And we continue to kind of test and see what's most effective. But that's been huge for us. And referrals are a very, very efficient channel. It's also just a big source of funded loan volume for us. So that's been huge. And then in terms of getting people to spend 3 hours with us, I think anytime you make something like really, to be honest, we send the message that the events are like the best thing in the world, right? Like they're these amazing things and, they're going to sell out. And we did that before they were selling out. Now they sell out in a second and we're having a hard time keeping up and creating enough capacity to meet the demand. But, at first we just kind of put it out there. It's like the best thing happening this night in Nashville. I'm using that as an example because we love going there. But that kind of exclusivity and, premium message really resonated with our target. Maybe not everyone's, but certainly ours.
Sure. We've found similar things, creating a premium experience, creating something that's very unique. We also have done some work on our supply chain side that has been, I think, a new-ish approach. We have a very transparent approach to product design and development, and that's something that people share. They'll share that, there is a supply chain story and that there is a significant aspect of transparency around that supply chain story. We have 2 products, one that has an insulating property made out of llama fleece, llama hair, and that's been something that people feel connected to because they're saying, oh, the outdoor industry is typically has this sort of this hypocrisy between trying to achieve the technical balance, and get the most technical material, and then also trying to be sustainable and environmentally responsible. So when they see something that maybe challenges that or takes a different approach, they share it really widely. We've also used crowdfunding as an approach to this. We've done a crowdfunding campaign that was very successful and are looking at doing that more frequently, something that is a great way to test product and also raise brand awareness.
So obviously you're all doing actually some great things with customer loyalty. How do you iterate your customer loyalty, and how do you gauge how much customer loyalty you're getting from those activities, and how do you use that to drive your business forward? Dan, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, gauging it is impossible, so we'll just take that off the table. Iterating on customer loyalty. So this kind of actually is the same response I was going to use for the last question, which is, so we have a referral program and those sorts of things, but the way we iterate is by going, so if a customer gives us a good rating, our response isn't, okay, we did great, that customer's happy, move on. The response is, great, we're glad you loved it, but what did you expect and what could we have done better? The response is still to engage the customers who have a good experience to find out what you could have done better or what you can do better next time. Or for us, it's noting those things that customers request. I want this type of cookie. I wish you had an option to not read the notes. I wish there was a 40-minute option instead of a 20-minute option. Noting those things, and then when we actually do build those features because enough people requested them, reaching back out to those customers and going, okay, hey, what you requested is now active. It's now live on the site. What do you think? Is this what you wanted? Is this what you expected it to be? So it's actually having an ongoing conversation. It's not continuing to make sure most of your customers pass this threshold of, oh, I got 7 out of 10 stars, but it's having an ongoing conversation with all the customers, no matter how they rated you on their first or their 10th experience.
We keep those touch points as well, having those constant conversations. We have a very active customer experience team that will reach out, call people, check in, maybe check in a year after you've had a jacket, see how it's going, ask what adventures you've been on, if you could share some pictures, maybe tag us in social media. But we also have a capacity constraint. We're a startup, we're young, we're nimble, we are constantly evolving, and we have engaged with a number of graduate study programs, locally and nationally, that have helped us expand that capacity. So we'll do things like maybe a brand evaluation or a test of some different marketing tactics and get feedback from a group at some of the local schools. And that's been a great way to help us test some of these assumptions, help us really push the envelope and not get stagnant, but also outsource some of that so that we don't just wait and put it off as like our future to-do list.
So customer loyalty, customer success is super important. How do you get the rest of your company, the rest of your team to buy into it? And how do you ensure that the delivery people, the salespeople, the staff member at the front line who's having a bad day, maybe they had an argument with their partner when they were about to come to work, how do you get buy-in from everyone, and how do you get them to continue to believe in it? I throw that open.
I mean, for us, because community's always been at the heart of what we do, I mean, once we started putting dollars behind it, yeah, you do have to justify it. And the way that we do that is I'm a very vocal proponent for my team and for our mission, and I'm just constantly sharing the success stories of the customers that we meet and the stories that they tell us. So I see myself as kind of the microphone for our customers back to our corporate team, which has been really powerful. I mean, yes, we are, kind of like a bank, but on the other hand, we hear stories all the time where someone had the student debt and it was at a high interest rate. Now that they've refinanced it, they feel more settled and they've started a family. That's a beautiful story, and that's something that we would never hear if we didn't meet them, and it's something that I feel a responsibility to share. So I think just keeping it inspirational helps everybody be like, okay, I had a little bit of a bad day, or oops, maybe we spent a tiny bit too much money, but we are really changing people's lives, and that's at the heart of my team and helping to inspire the rest of the company through those stories.
Yeah, we also try to root our team in the reason, the why we're doing things, and that is the combination of adventure and social impact. For us, that's something that all of our team members are fully bought into. We have a 10% in the wild time policy where every employee of ours gets 10% of their time spent adventuring or volunteering. Things like that help us keep our values really true, and also gives our team a chance to go product test, go get out in the wild, go see what is working or isn't. So when they respond to customer feedback, it's very authentic and it's true because they have experienced it.
I mean, we are still very tiny. We're 6 employees, so if someone didn't feel loyal and excited about coming, they're gone. But the way we've got 2 sets of customers. We've got our designers, which are the celebrities and influencers and bloggers who are actually making and producing the jewelry, and then we've got the end consumer. And so everyone on the team has interactions on a pretty much daily basis with both sides, positive and negative. And so, I mean, what really keeps us going is seeing that there are way more positive interactions and feedback than there are negative. And then, especially solving the problems and turning someone from unhappy to happy is like the best feeling in the world. So making sure that everyone in the company has interactions with the customer is really what keeps us all excited about coming to work.
Dan?
I think I agree. It comes back to customer stories mostly and sharing those internally. But so we have our team, and then we also have a fleet of couriers, 30 to 40 couriers who are contractors, and they view a lot of this as a job, as an hourly pay thing. And even people on the team do at days. And so it's understanding the incentives across your team, what brings them to work every day, and then the things about what you're building that they like. So one of our engineers built an emoji keyboard for our gift notes. When that gets used in crazy and wacky ways, all the messages go right to him and be like, dude, this is working. People love it. They're using it every day. Some of our couriers love reading the notes aloud. We send them a crazy note and say, hey, this order's you'll love this. Some of our couriers love going to the difficult buildings because they want to see if they can get past security. So for us, it's not just sharing the stories internally, but it's understanding what incentivizes everyone on the team to come to work and to build that type of product, and then sharing those specific stories back to them.
So with a couple of minutes left, what are the key things for customer loyalty that you've either seen internally or that you've had experiences with other companies that have really made you think, this is why I love this company?
I'll start. Everyone's thinking
Yeah.
here. For me, my role is a little bit geared towards this, but the social impact piece is core. It can act as a glue. It is the reason to go to work. It's integrating that mission with your profit-driven motives as well. So for us, Cotopaxi was the first benefit corporation, the first company to incorporate out of the gates as a benefit corporation and then receive venture funding. And this is something, that's a new model. It's a new statement for the hybrid business movement, and it's something that we're all pretty determined to prove. So when we go in and look at our interactions with our customers, we want to build that community. We want to get them involved in our work and share it with them and make sure they understand it and that they're sharing their own passions with us. So together we can, really really promote business as a force for good. And as long as I think you keep that shared commitment and you talk about it and you don't kind of get detached from that, it is something that you're building together. The customer is enabling you to give, enabling you to scale that impact, and that's something that they feel really prideful of too.
Thank you. We have 1 minute left. Which one of you wants to go for it? Dan?
So at the core of our customer loyalty, it's less about how can we bring customers back and how can we, because there's like drip marketing, there's a million things you can do. Everyone's how can we bring customers back? What we focus on is how can we create an experience that customers will talk about around the dinner table? And this is kind of what happened. We're by no means Uber, but when Uber first came out, you get out of a ride to a dinner party, you're hoping you're the early adopter, and you get to tell 15 people what just happened. So for us, we know if we can create and generate that experience organically, customers will just come back on their own. And so we continue to focus on how can we just make an experience for every single customer that they want to talk about and share with the people at the end of their day.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Please give a hand for our panel. Thank you.